Hello and welcome to your messages for the week. Today is Sunday, the 16th of January 2022. So we're in the middle of January already. If you haven't seen the messages for January as a month, the month of January and the year ahead for 2022, then please check that out. I'll put a link in the description and the screen at the end screen, the video in the end screen. Because we're well into January now, and all the messages from that monthly video will obviously be relevant. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Deborah Jane Sutton, and you can find out more about me from my website at deborahjanesutton.com or from this YouTube channel. So have a good browse around. I have a series on lessons in awakening, and I have another series on self-healing. There is lots of free content, okay? So please have a good browse and see if anything resonates with you. Okay, so let's have a look and see any guidance for the week ahead. Any heads up? Okay. 4 cards came out. Anything new? That was a very quick and easy. Take these, Deborah. Take these 4. We'll give them to you all together. Yes, look, it's amazing, isn't it? It's funny how it happens. So let's have a look at them. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's dive in. We have got the 3 of hearts. 3 of hearts. Sorry, the 3 of swords coming up. The 3 of hearts, of course, in typical cards would be cups. But anyway, the 3 of swords. This is typically grief cards, heartbreak, obviously. But swords, of course, is your thoughts and your beliefs and your mental processes. So it's asking you to look at the things that are giving you grief in a new way. Choose another thought. If you have a thought that is not making you feel good, look at it from a different perspective. Look at it from a higher perspective. So if there's stuff going on in the world, let's say, and it's not making you feel very good, can you look at that from a higher level of consciousness and just choose to see it as the adversity that we need as humanity for waking up at this time, right? Diving straight in with this. We know that adversity is our springboard to enlightenment. There's a video, I found a video about that. And we grow through grief. I've got a video on that one as well. So this growing through grief and expanding through our adversity. If we're comfortable, we carry on without raising our vibration, without learning anything new. We're just sitting there in comfort zone, right? We have to be booted out of our comfort zone in order to make changes. And the bigger the change that we need to make, the bigger the boot out of our comfort zone. So there's atrocities going on all the time, and there always have been, and you will know in your own life you've had lots of adversity and it woke you up. This is no different. This is no different. And if you can look at it that it had to happen, I mean, look how much you've woken up and expanded into more of who you are in the last couple of years. I mean, you have, haven't you? You know, your whole thinking now is different from 2 years ago. Would that have happened without what's going on in the world today? No. So there's your blessing. Straight away, there's your blessing. Yes, it's a horrible way to go through it, but also the severe grief that a lot of people go through in order to wake up to their higher power, wake up to their higher self, wake up to the fact that they are more than they're human. You know, that grief is also horrible to go through. Whether it be the loss of a loved one, or it could be a loss of a job, or it could be a near-death experience. They're not pleasant experiences, but we have them in order to help us dig deeper into our spiritual reserves and to help us see that there is a bigger picture. We are more than our human. You are your higher self. Your human is just here playing the game. Okay, so this card is about anything that's causing you grief and heartache. Can you shift your thinking so that you can expand with the thoughts, and that you can expand with the grief, with the heartache, with the disruption, or with the bits that are hurting you? Where are you hurting? Okay, if the thought hurts, don't think it. That's a line that I quite like. If the thought hurts, don't think it. So you have a thought and it hurts you, and but it makes you feel contracted. Can we separate ourselves from what's going on in the physical world? Can you view everything from your highest self? I mean, you know, from that lofty place, you know, whether you're personifying the energy as being, you know, spirit guides or angels or your galactic family or God, it doesn't matter. But you are so much more than your human. So if you can view what's going on in the physical world from that viewpoint, and you can see the blessings that are going on, you can see the good behind everything, you can see the awakening going on. Every time something horrible happens, there's more awakening, and that can only be a good thing. And would that awakening have happened if the horrible things hadn't happened? You know, so if you can, we're not condoning any bad behavior, of course not. It's not that we have to condone negative behavior. We're seeing it from a different level. We're not having that division of good and bad. We're seeing it, we're choosing to see things from a level whereby we're seeing the blessing in it all. So there's something negative that happened, but there's good that's come out of it. So we're going to focus on the good, and that's going to expand us. And when we're in that expanded state, we can express love and compassion to all those who need it. So rather than sharing in people's anger and grief and bitterness and resentment, we don't need to do that. We can open our hearts and see the good behind everything. And that, when you open your heart, that love and compassion is going to flow through you. And you can share that with others. And that's going to help humanity an awful lot more than adding to the resentment and the bitterness and the anger. Love and compassion. Love is the answer. The next card is the Page of Swords. So this is the way I look at it, because he's come on the heels of this, is he's basically saying, take these downward facing swords out of the heartache and the grief and the bitterness and the upset. He's pulling these swords up and out, and he's turning them into blessings. He's taking each one of these swords, putting them into blessings. Okay, even like if it's someone that's passed over, okay, and you're suffering the most extreme grief, find comfort in the fact that some people feel a lot closer, because you now have like a personification of energy, we want to say, that's going to help you tap into higher levels of consciousness. I mean, that's, like I said before, that's what your spirit guides, your angels, your galactic family, you know, that's what it's all about, is by personifying the energy and relating to those guides, angels, galactic family, or what have you, what you're able to do is tap into higher levels of consciousness. But it's all you. It's all you. Okay. But in our human state, we like to be loved and nurtured, and we like to receive the love that we feel like we didn't get when we were children. So we love to be nurtured and guided by our spirit guides. We love to be nurtured and guided by our angels, by our galactic family, okay, or by God, you know, or by anybody else. But also our passed over loved ones. Our passed over loved ones guide us. You know, you can tap in to their consciousness And that's a higher level. They're no longer in physical form. So you can access their levels of consciousness so much more easily. And that's a blessing. That's the biggest blessing, isn't it? That comes from the grief of losing a loved one. So that's one of the swords. I feel like he's taken one of the swords out and is just offering you that new way of looking at things, just to help put you into an expanded state. You're still going to feel the grief, but you're going to be in an expanded state. Does that make sense? Because we're expanding into more of who we are. And when you're in that expanded state, that's when you will have love for yourself, for the passed over loved one, for all of humanity. That's when the love comes, the love and compassion for everything, for all that is. And that's what we're looking for at the moment. So he's taking all these beliefs that are causing you pain, okay, and pulling swords out and giving you a new inspired way of looking at things. Okay, and we had the same situation actually in our village. My village, unfortunately, has now been put on the map for not a very nice reason, as somebody shot a dog very unnecessarily, and so there was a big uproar about it. Now, I'm a big dog lover. My first instinct was, you know, who is he? I want to know who he is, because first of all, I want to keep my dog away. But also, who is he? Because he has to pay. He has to pay. You know, this isn't right. And I was really going into low frequency lynch mob mentality. And then I thought, well, lynch mobbing, that's not a bad thing, because that will raise his awareness to his behavior and how unacceptable it is. And that will raise his level of consciousness. You know, we don't have to love them. I was very deep in the reactive state of hearing that news. And it took me quite a while for my page of swords to come in and to pull the sword out, because I was in a very like grief-stricken, this isn't right, I'm not loving what is, everything's wrong, we have to, you know, I was in that frequency, you know. So after a while, luckily, my page of swords came in and pulled the sword out and just looked at it as in, you know, I'm living in Spain, and, you know, their track record for looking after their animals hasn't been great. And the outpouring of love and compassion for the owner of the dog and the dog itself that died has been massive. And I have never seen an outpouring like that in Spain on the death of a dog. They were marching in the streets, they had banners, you know, there was a hashtag and everything. And I then saw it from a different perspective, and I was like, oh, I love you, Spain. I love this situation that so many people here are waking up to the fact that animals are sentient beings, and there was some expansion to be felt in the outpouring of love that was the response from the people in the village and around. So I saw the blessing. I saw the blessing, and that helped me send so much love and compassion to that little dog for serving humanity in that way. You know, served humanity in that way to help raise the awareness and the consciousness level of the people. And that's what we've all come here to do in one way or another. And that was the way that dog did it. You know, and when you look at it that way, you can really fill with love and compassion. So there's just an example, just a little example of how you can take a belief and turn it around and see the blessing. Our next card is the 10 of Wands, which burdens. I think this links in, because when you have these negative thoughts and you're viewing things from just that physical world, if you're just viewing things on the basic level and you're not looking at the higher picture, then it does weigh on your shoulders. it will weigh on your shoulders. I mean, if you don't deal with grief and stuff in a positive way, it will wear you down. And that's the message with this card, is he's really being weighed down. He has a burden on his shoulders. But this card also refers to responsibilities that you're taking on behalf of other people, well, yourself as well. These are responsibilities that you think you have, and you don't have to. There's some responsibilities in life that you can actually let go of. They could be personal ones. It could be the way you do things. It could be the burden, for example, of, I don't know, I'm just going to pick a silly example, but, you know, you might have this belief that you have to, like, get your car washed every week, you know, and you're busting a gut to do it, you know, and it's just like, no, these things don't matter. It's a responsibility that you can drop. There will be more serious examples as well. And as I'm saying this, I'm sure you can relate to some. So there'll be things that you're doing in your own life that are causing you a little bit of stress and weight on your shoulders, because you keep thinking that you have to do it. And the truth is you don't, because you are creating your own life. There is only you. So you're creating everything, and you get to put meaning on what you're creating. Okay, I'll put a link in below to my video on the meaning of life as well. I'll put it in the end screen, because you get to choose the meaning that you put on it. So you can change anything, any responsibility you have. You can drop it and change, you know, make different choices in life. But this is also possibly responsibilities that you're taking for other people. Okay, so I'm not suggesting that you become irresponsible, obviously not, if we are parents and, you know, looking after loved ones and things like that. But just ask yourself the question, are you doing things for somebody else where they can be doing it for themselves? If they can't do it for themselves, right, and they need it to be done, then obviously, so then you need to change the way you look at it. If it's causing you stress, you need to change the way you look at it. Feel blessed that you have that person in your life and that you're physically able to help them. There's a blessing. But sometimes we do things for people thinking that we're helping, but actually what we're doing is we're hindering them from accessing their own higher levels of consciousness. We've just looked at the fact that we grow through adversity. So maybe dropping some of these responsibilities towards other people will mean they might be a little bit peed off in the beginning, right? But you may be creating the adversity or the discomfort that they need in order to kick themselves out of their comfort zone. And it's much better for them to kick themselves out of the comfort zone, surely. It's much better for them to make their conscious choices, whether it be, you know, choices that they're going to learn from through adversity, or choices that are more positive that are going to take them forward. So somewhere along the line, we need to drop some responsibilities to ourselves and to others. And I know that sounds irresponsible, but you need to just ask yourself, with each responsibility, how important is it? Is it something I can let go of? It's also part of self-love. Is it a routine that I do because I think I need it? Can I drop it and feel better and feel relieved? Okay, especially if it's related to work or something like that. Our last card is Judgment card. It always comes up. It's coming up all the time because, of course, this is Archangel Gabriel calling you to action as the starseed that you are, as the light being that you are, the soul seed that you are. So here he's waking up the dead. This is about waking up to your higher levels of consciousness. This is about you realizing that you're more than you're human, and everybody else is more than they're human, which made me just think then, as I said that, here's another piece of advice. I got this from SaraLandon.com. I'll put a link into her website because I love her teachings. So she talks about if you're having issues with somebody in the physical world, okay, and you have a conversation that you want to have with somebody, but it's going to be a little bit delicate, or it might be a bit difficult. And our third dimensional humans can be quite full of defensiveness and ego and pride and shame and things like that. So sometimes conversations can be a little bit difficult and defensive. So what you can do is in meditation, and if you're new to meditation, you can literally just choose to think this. You know, I have a I have a video as well, I'll put in the description, on meditation for beginners. But in meditation, you can visualize a pyramid of light or whatever structure you want. You could be down in a meadow by a stream or something, your special place or what have you. But I love the pyramid of light. And in that pyramid of light, or in that special place, you can invite the higher self of whoever it is you want to have your conversation with. Invite them in to your special place. Invite them in and tell them, say to them from a loving, expanded point of view, okay? So what we've learned from here, not in our contracted, grief-stricken state, but in our expanded state of love and compassion. Tell them whatever it is you want to tell them, or ask them whatever it is you want to ask them, or explain whatever it is you want to explain to them. Do it in that setting to their higher self. Their higher self will be more receptive. You could easily get a reply. For those of you new to doing this kind of thing, that might sound a bit weird, but whatever thoughts come into your head once you've explained it, what do you think the other person is going to be saying? Because whatever words come into your head, you have to ask yourself, where have they come from and why? So take them as your intuition, take them as the response that's needed. And you can have that conversation in, whether you look at it as in a meditation state, or in dream state, or in daydreaming state, doesn't matter. Okay, it's all the same thing as far as I'm concerned. But have that conversation with them like that, from your higher self with their higher self. Okay, and once you've done that, you'll remember it anyway. You will find that when you come into your human vessel again, and you are speaking with them in the physical world, you will find that that conversation will go so much more smoothly, because their higher self has already acknowledged something on some level. Okay, and so their human will be, you know, influenced by that that effect on the higher level. So that's one thing that came to me just now, to share that, because a lot of people are having some quite difficult conversations, whether it be at work with employers and employees, or whether it be family members, or what have you, or in relationships. You know, if you're going through one of those disconnects that we were talking about last week, these kind of conversations can be really useful. So, you know, have them in the pyramid of light, or your special place, your higher self to their higher self, so that you can actually say the things that you really want to say from the heart, from the expanded heart, from love and compassion, and then it will be much easier, that conversation in the physical, because it is all connected. So, life purpose. So at the moment, in order to fulfill our life purpose, or part of fulfilling our life purpose, is of course to process these emotions that are coming up, to look at them from a different perspective, and I want to use the word master, to master your emotions and master your thoughts. Okay, because that's what it's about. If we are shifting, people are talking about shifting from 3D to 5D. We're not leaving 3D, we're staying in physical form. So we're not shifting out of 3D. What we're doing is we're going to navigate and enjoy the third dimensional physical realm from a fifth dimensional level of consciousness. Okay, so it's not that we're leaving it all behind. We are learning to master our thoughts, master our emotions, so that we can bring into physicality the way we want life to be, the creations that we choose, our dreams and our wishes and our desires. We can consciously choose to create whatever it is that we want. That's in the physical. So that is still 3D, but we are going to navigate, or we are, some people are, and we're learning to, that's what I think it's all about, is these lessons in awakening, learning to master our thoughts, master our emotions, so that we can navigate the physical world and create what we want to create physically. And so we're not leaving the physical world, but we're bringing into the physical world a higher level of consciousness. whereby love leads the way. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. And the other thing I wanted to share is sound. I just, little last couple of minutes, I want to invite you to with me. I just find that, I mean, sound, everything's frequency, and sound healing is massive. And we know this, that you run your fingers down a chalkboard and everyone's contracted, aren't they? Whereas when you hear, you know, the voice of an angel, you're like this and you're expanded. So obviously music and sound, you know, the sound of an angry dog is not as nice as the sound of a happy purring cat, for example, you know. So sound is really important. And also we can use sound to seriously heal our body and to help embody the light coming in and to help ground us as well. You can use sound for all sorts of things. I'm not an expert in it, but I know people that are. I'll put a link into their website as well in the description. So, but as a yogi, I just wanted to share some omming. It's nice to om like maybe 3 times, or you can do 3 times 3. They're the magic numbers, but you know, you do it as much as you like. First of all, I want to invite you to relax your body, drop your shoulders, and take a breath right down to the belly. Let your belly expand. And then let your breath slow right down, slower and deeper. And then you'll feel, once the belly's expanded, you'll feel your diaphragm expanding, your rib cage expanding, your heart expanding, hopefully. Let it out, just to get yourself in a nice relaxed state. So I invite you to close your eyes, and you can just let any sound out. It doesn't matter. There is no right and wrong sound. I was really shy about this in the beginning because I thought, well, what if I'm off key? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Things like that don't matter. Well, we used to think they did, right? Well, that doesn't make us feel good. So along comes him, take that sword out. Whatever sound comes out of your body at this time will be the perfect sound for you. Just know that. So it really doesn't matter. So we're going to inhale. And then when we om, we can start off with the mouth open. Start off with the mouth open. And then as the breath comes, you know, comes out, you can close the mouth and carry on with that. So it would be more like a om. And you can keep that vibration. It does vibrate. It's beautiful. Keep that sound going for as long as you can, as long as it's comfortable. You'll probably find that over time, you'll be able to hold more breath and therefore make longer oms. But for now, I just want to have a little practice, just to introduce it to those of you that are not aware of it. If you know all about omming, then you know, have a great week and you switch off now. So I'm just going to do 3 oms, and I just invite you to join me. So please close your eyes, drop your shoulders, relax your body, take a lovely deep breath down to the belly. One more time. I invite you to try that a few more times to yourself, and just feel your energy change as you do that. I feel like I'm bathing in the frequency. I also urge you to trust yourself that the right sound will come out that you need to bathe in. You know, you'll bathe in whatever sound your body needs at this time. It's another act of self-love and another act of helping you raise your frequency, which will in turn raise the frequency of the collective. So just another little added extra there. Love you all so much. Have a fantastic week and see you again soon. Bye for now.